Hi everyone, Emma here. I am so excited to show you how to make this lovely bracelet. So I made part of it and then we're just going to add another one of these components, which I have one here that's a different color. That's what it looks like on the back and that's what it looks like on the front. And yeah, so I'm going to show you how to do these. These are so simple, and you can maybe use your Nib-bit beads that you bought thinking they looked cool. I'm going off of what what happened to me. They looked cool. I'm like, oh, I got to get some of those. And then I could never figure out how to use them. Now, there are some really good videos out there on how to use them. And I think Bronze Pony has a few videos on using them for bezels. And actually, I think that's what got me going this time was she may have just released one where she uses the Nib-bits, but this part here is showing next to the bezel, and then there's beads that go around it. So it goes around like that, and you see all the crystal that she has. So let's take a look at what we need for this and get started. I also just wanted to mention I do have a bunch of other colors here. So there's a lot of options in the colors that you can use. Now, the design I used uses a 8mm. Let me double check to make sure this is 8mm. This is like a cushion stone. And I will bring up the link where I got these on AliExpress. They were super cheap. The quality's pretty, I would call it low quality. So yeah, that's 8mm. The pink ones you don't notice as much, and I'm not sure. I think they probably did have other colors, but I find sometimes with a low quality crystal, you have to pick the darker color or a color like pink where you don't notice that the color is not consistent in it. But I mean, these look lovely, and for what we're using them for, you're not going to see it. I do suspect you could probably use an 8mm like point back chaton, something like that. So there's really, you can use a bunch of stuff inside this little bezel. So let me just show you the red one. So I often will pick red. Red seems to be a dark color, but I did pick through these. Now, like I said, they're super cheap. I think I got like 100 for like $2 or something like that. So I did pick through the reds because some of them, I should have grabbed one to show you. It's just, here's, okay, see, can't really see it with this one, but if you look on the back of this one, the metal finish or the foil on the back doesn't go all the way to the edge. Not a big deal. You don't notice it on the other side. But that's what I mean by poor quality. And again, you would notice it. So we'll see how we get along, because what I want to do is show you how to make a component to add to the bracelet and show you how to add it to the bracelet and then the final piece of the clasp. And if we had, like, if that goes through quickly, I'll do one with the red so you can get an idea before you go ahead and order them. So let's take a look. Now this one here, I didn't realize was a different color Nib-bit. So let's see if I can, it might be a little hard to see on camera the difference. This one has a more rosy pink color, and this is more of a dark bronze, and I'll give you the color names. This one here is matte metallic bronze, and the bracelet and what we're working on is matte metallic copper. So they're very pinky color. You're going to need 6 of these Nib-bits for each component. So you have to consider how many of these you need. So this is going to be for about a, I was looking at mine. Mine's a 6, but we're going to do one more component and the clasp. So this would probably bring you to 6.5 inches. I would probably consider one of these to be an inch. And then, so maybe count your pearls and your component. Yeah, 1 inch. So from here to here is 1 inch. So that consider to add one of those. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. My wrist is about a 6-inch. That's exactly. So the 6 makes my. Now this will be a little big for me. I put a lot of beads on the end because not many people have a small wrist like me. And if you're like me, I tend to give away my bracelets. So it would be nice if it would fit people that don't have like a Barbie doll wrist. So let's put this up here for now. Let's talk about the supplies. So for your bezel, you're going to need some 8/0 seed beads. Colors, again, is up to you. You're going to need some 15/0 seed beads. You need your Nib-bits. To complete the bracelet, I'm using 6mm Presciosa Dusty Rose pearls. So I have a strand here. Then you're going to need a clasp. I'm using a toggle clasp, and I'm adding a 5mm 18 gauge jump ring on this side. I forgot to add it on this side, and I would highly recommend you add one, because if I wanted to give this to somebody and it needed to be bigger, all I would have to do is undo the jump ring and add an extender chain or a different clasp. So don't forget when you're putting your stuff on to consider that. So I also used a wire guard for that. I find if I'm using thread for my components, I want to make sure I use a wire guardian so that the thread doesn't get rubbed and broken. You're going to need some 11/0 seed beads to attach your clasp. So let's put this there for now. And of course you need your crystals. So let's put one of these. I'm using the, I think they call this number 5. So it's 0.005 of an inch. And this is the dragon thread from Potomac Beads. And you know what? Here in Canada, it's hard to get good prices on Fireline, and I can find it at the sporting goods stores, but I hate to go into a store that sells guns to buy my thread for beading. So I'm so grateful that Potomac Beads puts out the dragon thread. So you're going to need a size 12 needle. I found that because we're using 15s, it's probably a safer bet. So I just took about 12 inches of thread, and we'll get started. So you're going to start with your 15/0s and your Nib-bits. So you're going to pick up a 15/0, and let me bring this a little, straighten this out, and we'll enlarge it. You're going to pick up your Nib-bits. So your Nib-bits, let's take a look at them. So they're little triangles. They're chubby little triangles. So they have a narrow end and a wide end, and they have 2 holes. They're hard to grab a hold of. They have 2 holes. So on the narrow end, there's a hole, and on the wide end, there's a hole. So we're going to pick out, like we've got our 15/0, we're going to pick the small end to go through, and we're going to do that for all of them. So pick up another 15/0, another Nib-bit at the small end. Look at my 15/0, another Nib-bit at the small end, 15 Nib-bit at the small end, I said it. Sorry about that. A little better. 15-0. Nib-bit. 15-0. Nib-bit. Like that. So let's take a look. So this is what we have. So we're going to draw this to the end, and we're going to tie a knot in it. So let's bring it down to the end of my thread. So I'm using, like I said, 12 inches of thread. You probably don't need that. I just find it's a little simpler for me to work with and to handle, but we're just doing one. So we're going to create a little circle and tie that into a knot. Where's my thread? Okay. Go through like that. Pull it tight. You're going to do a few knots. Because I'm using the very thin thread, I do 3 knots because I'm not worried about it clogging a hole. But if you're using a thicker thread, which, okay, so let me talk about that. You can use a thicker thread, and what you'll find is the thicker thread will give you more structure to your elements. Now, more specifically when you add the components together. So it's really not necessary when you're doing this section here. And actually, when you do the bezeling, you might find it too tight to do stuff. So let's just clip this end off. And get rid of that thread. So now you can see there's quite a little piece there. I'm going to hide that in the bead, but you know what? We're going to have a lot of beads covering it, so it's not a big deal. So I'm just going to go through this hole, and I'm going to pass through a couple. Let me tilt this some more. So you pull through like that. You can see that little tail, and pull it through, and it goes through. There, all gone. So now I'm just going to go through once just to make sure it's secure with thread. And I apologize, my hands are really shaky. I'm still having issues with a medication that's making them shaky. And I'm getting ready to have my surgery on Tuesday, so I had to reschedule my appointment to reassess that medication that's causing it. So let me make sure I'm going the right way. So once you go all the way around, then you're going to come out one of the Nib-bits, and you're going to step up. So you're going to go from the small hole, or the small end, to the big end hole. So it's basically changing direction, which isn't a big deal because we're going to do that. So once we do that, we're going to flip it over. So now we're going in the other direction. So this is where you need your 8/0 beads. So let's take a few here. You can use, so here's the thing too, you could take this design and switch up the beads however you want. So you could use 11/0 seed beads for what we just did. And what that'll do is that'll bring out your Nib-bit beads a bit. Then you can use, again, 11/0s, but put like 3 across. So maybe 3 would fit here, so it might need 4 if you were using 11s down here. So there's lots of ways you can approach this and create some really cool designs. So then we're just going to put that 8/0 there. We're coming out of the next hole at the top. We're going to add another 8/0. Just like that. Another one. and just go all the way around. You could put a oh, what do they call those, daggers sticking out and do like a flower design. So once you start figuring out how to use your Nib-bits, just play with them and you'll start to come up with really cool designs. My creativity process is I watch a bunch of videos and look up a bunch of things on Pinterest, and then I say, okay, I take my stuff out, put them out, and start trying to put them together in different ways. So this is the last one. We're going to come through and go through. It doesn't matter if you go through your 8-0 right now. So that's what it should look like. So we're going to go through the next one and just the hole, not the 8-0, through the Nib-bit. Now we're going to go back down. So we're going to go from the hole at the big side to the hole at the lower side. And we want to hook into this seed bead, because again, when you step down, you're going to be changing directions. So we'll just go through that hole and through that 15-0. Okay. Now we're going to start adding our bezel beads. So we're using 15-0s, so we can put those 8-0s aside. We don't need them. So now we'll probably need some more of these actually. Let's get their 15-0s. Okay, we don't need that much, but I'm terrible for that. I always put out too many beads. Okay, so we want to create our bezel, so we're going to go through, and I'm just looking, I see something here. I think that was a piece of thread that, let me see. So here is a, something that happens. So watch, when you step down, my thread went around that 8-0 bead and was dragging it down, and you could see that thread. So make sure that it goes up against the Nib-bit bead only. So it's kind of cool that it did that, because otherwise you wouldn't have seen that, what to look for. Okay, so we're coming out of this 15-0. We're going to pick up 7. And I have some, these are mixed in, so that's the wrong size. That's an 11-0. 4, 5, 6, 7. Take a look. And I'm going to increase this a bit. And I'll pull this closer so you can see. Okay, so now we're going to go from this one to this one here. So I'm just going to push those down a bit. Don't want them to slide off. And pick up your next 15-0. So here's an opportunity to let you know another hint. When you're putting together the first section with your 15-0s and your Nib-bits, don't make it too tight. I tend to make it tight, and I did for some of my other components, but then it made it hard for me to get my needle through to add the bezeling part. So make sure you leave, you don't have to leave a lot of space, but don't tighten it. Okay, so just pull that like that and keep going around. So we need 1, 2, that's a big bead, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7. And go through the next 15-0. And just the 15-0 like that with your 7. Pull that through. And this part here, you want to make sure that they are, you know, snug at the bottom. They don't have to be super tight, but you want them sitting at the bottom. And then just keep going all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That down. Get the next 15-0. That. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And make sure I pull those down and through here. And untangle your beads. They don't do what they're supposed to do. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm going to check that. That looked a bit wonky. Yeah, 7. Go through the next 15-0. Then we have 1 more to go. Like that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so now we're going to go through the next 15-0, but this is our last one. So go through the next 15-0. Just be careful not to hook onto other beads, which is what's happening. It's starting to get a little snug in there for your needle to move around. So, okay. So this is what you should have. You have 7 beads going over each nibbit at the small end. Okay, so take a look at where your thread is coming, the one we just completed. You're coming out of the initial 15-0 that we added to put our nibbits together. So now what we're going to do is we're going to come up. I'm just pushing this out. You don't want to have it that loose, but I'll pull it when we get to the next one. But just so you can see, let me see if I can get a hold of that. So the thread's coming out of this one. These are the ones that were attached. So these are the ones we just added. You're going to go through to the 4th bead. So each bead has 7, or each section has 7 on it. You want to be always in the top middle one. So that's 3 beads on each side, and there's your middle one. So if you have to count, you count to 4 and you're in the middle one. So let's go through the first 3 and the last one, the middle. So really 4 beads. Okay, if you have to do it in 2 sections, that's fine. So I just went through 2. And I'm not going to pull it tight yet. And 2 more. There. So you want to be in that middle bead. So now I'm going to pull tight because you see the one prior to it has loosened because I made room. So now this is what we're going to do. We're going to add, and let me double check. Yeah, we just need 1 15-0. Okay, so we're in the middle. I don't know if you can see this. There we go. We're in the middle top bead. We're going to take 1 15-0 and we're going to go through the next middle bead. So we're going to do that on every one after that. We're going to add a 15-0 and we're going to go through just the middle one now. So the first one is different. We have to reposition our thread into the middle. So we have to go through the first 3 and then the middle. So now we can go just through it. So if you count from the base, there's 1, 2, 3. If you're not sure, look on the other side and count 1, 2, 3. Okay, so that's the middle one. Just bring your needle and thread through that one, like that, with your other bead. And this is what's going to create our bezel. So it's going to hold it together. So let's go to the next one. We're going to pick up 115 and just bring that up so you can see. And sometimes this happens so you can kind of tell that it's actually there. But if you want to check, go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So we want to go through this top middle bead, just that, with our one that we added. We're going to do that all the way around. You're not going to pull it tight at this point because we want to add our bead inside the middle, or crystal. So let's pick up a 15-0 and go through the middle bead like that. Go to the next one. Take a look. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay, there's our one down here. 2, 3. So this is the middle one. And there we go. Like that. Okay. Pick up a 15-0 and go through the next middle one. Here. You can double check before you go through. 3 on each side. And so we're getting close. This is the last one. So 1, 2, 3. This one's going to look different because we've pulled our thread. If you loosened your thread, it would kind of sit in the middle. So you can see the thread and the one that we added. There's our middle bead. So just be careful when you're going through this last one. It may look different and you may think, where is it? I can't find it. It's just because it's all pushed down. So we're coming out of the middle bead on this one. We're going to go through the middle bead on this one. And now we can go around and put our needle and thread through all the ones we just passed through. So the single middle bead on the top, as well as our ones that we added on here. Now, at this point, I'm just going to scooch it open with my finger. We're going to take our crystal and just put it in there. It doesn't matter as long as the crystal part's up and the metal part's down, the foil. So now you can actually just hold it with your finger and pull your thread. Now it doesn't look like much because we do need to do a lot of tightening at this point and moving the beads into position. So what I find makes this easier is I go through a second time through all those beads. So we're going to go through the single, through the middle top, through the single, through the middle top, through the next single. I'm going to flip that out there for a second. Through, let's go through. So now we can add our crystal again. Like that. And this should tuck it in nicely, and we'll continue to go around to finish this off. But you can see it's tightening it a lot nicer now that we've gone through a second time. I'm just going to pull it through. So this part does take a lot of kind of maneuvering. You could add 2 15-0s in between to create your circle. And the other option you have is you can, instead of adding 7 beads around each Nib-bit bead, you could actually add 5. And I'll show you, I did one that I added 5. So still needs a little maneuvering here. So let's go through these guys. There. Okay, this should take care of things. So we'll just squeeze and pull. And just kind of pushing the beads up over the crystal as I'm pulling and holding on to thread. As you can see, it's coming along. There. Just like that. Ta-da! So I am going to go through a few more. I don't like when it leaves like little spaces like that. Let me make sure this is. So let's go through. So I'm just going through the middle. A few more beads to make sure that's tight so the crystal doesn't come out. And a few more here. Okay, so when you're coming out with your thread, you want to make sure you're coming out along one of these lines because we're going to bring our thread down. So let's go through a top middle one. Okay, like that. And I'm going to give it one more positioning tug and kind of move the, there, you get a nice circle. Okay, so now we want to take our thread down these 3 beads here and we're going to tie it off. Let's go through these 3. Just going to like that, go through those 3 and pull it tight. Okay. Everything together. Now flip it over, and now this might be a difficult area to get through this 50. No, let's see if we can manage it. We may have to tie our knot elsewhere. Let me try and go through the Nib-bit hole. That. And you can see that's why my needle was bent trying to do this maneuver. It doesn't help that my hands are shaky. Okay. Okay, it's hooked there. So now we're just gonna tie a knot. So let's do a step up. It'll be easier to tie the knot. So we're down at the bottom here, so we're going to step up through the top hole and through the 8-0. We'll put our knot and then we'll hide it in that in the top of the Nib-bit. So to do a knot, you want to find a thread bridge there. Hold your needle in place and wrap your thread around twice. Bring it down and then put your finger over it so that that knot doesn't loosen and then jump over a bead. It does that a lot. So, and then pull it tight. Then go through like that. And give it a little tug and you'll feel the knot go in the hole. So there is your component. That is how simple that is. Super duper. So now we can add this to the bracelet and finish off the bracelet. Let me see what I have done here, because I left a strand on the end. This is what it looks like on the bottom. Okay. So I think what I'll do is I'll leave this strand here to complete the toggle clasp. So let me take my needle out and we will attach, because we do have some thread on this guy here. So now we're just going to need the 11/0. So let's get rid of get rid of the 15/0. I ended up putting those two 11/0 back in there. Okay, we're going to need these, and we're going to need 2 pearls to attach in between the two, and then I used 2 pearls on the toggle side. So let's thread this one. Oh, this one's short. It should work though. There we are. Get our needle threaded. Somebody commented on one of the other videos how fast I was at getting my my needle threaded. I don't know how it's happening. I think it's just good luck. That's not usually the case. So this is what you want to do. You're coming out of, let me make sure how I did this on the other side. Okay, so actually we're going to take this off. I'm just going to do this so that I do it to the same as what I did on the others for their attachment. So if you look at the others here, I went on the outside of the 8/0. So, and the only reason I tell you that is because I went on the outside of the 8/0, what it does is it creates a nice straight line to all the components. You don't have to do it that way. You could go on the inside of the 8/0, but next to the Nib-bit, and I'll show you what that would look like. So then your pearls would be together like that. So it's like that and like that. So that's what it would look like, and that's totally perfect as well. It's just a strong whatever. It's just depends on how you want this to look. So just let it. So I need to go around that 8/0 just to be consistent with the others. And actually, oh, I'm at the bottom. So let me step up on this one so you can see my threads at the bottom. So let's go through the top hole and through the 8/0. And watch it doesn't hook through. And now we can thread on our pearls. So we're going to do an 11/0, a pearl, an 11/0, like that. Bring that down and position. So because I want to use the thread on the other component for the clasp, I want to position this clasp so that when I go through on this side, it will be, the thread will be either at the bottom or the top on either side of this Nib-bit that's directly across from the other Nib-bit that we're going to attach. I hope that makes sense. So go around your 8/0, go through the Nib-bit and around the next 8/0. If you have to do it in 2 parts, that's fine. Sometimes is the case. Nudge that over. So there's that connection. We're going to do the same on the bottom side. So we're going to add an 11/0, a pearl, and an 11/0. And then we're going to go through the outside of the 8/0. So let me just move this so you can see. Go through like that. through, and everything's snug. So now we're going to go through that twice. It doesn't matter if it's loose. I'm going to pick it up. It just makes it easier for me to go through things. I'm just going to hold that. I'm going to make sure, go through the 11-0, the pearl, the 11-0. Then go through the outside of the 8-0, the Nib-bit, and the 11-0, pearl 11-0. This thread out of the way. And like I said, it doesn't matter if it's loose, because when you do this, let's get this guy out of the way. Do that, you can just pull your thread and it brings it tight. So let's go through the 11 or the 8-0, the Nib-bit, the 8-0, and this is going to be our last time through. Go through the 11, pearl, and 11, like that. Now we're going to make sure it's nice and tight. Okay, and we are going to put a knot. So I'm holding it tight with my fingers, bringing my needle through that thread bridge like this. Hold it there with your fingernail. Then bring your thread around twice, pull it down, hold on to that. Pull it tight. The knot. Now go through the 8-0, the Nib-bit, and the next 8-0. Now you can decide which way you want to go. That doesn't matter when you're adding your knots. There, so that's tight. So that's, you still have some movement with this one. If you did it in the middle, it wouldn't move. It would be firmer. So now I'm going to add a second knot on this side here. So that's why I went this way instead of the thread path, because this keeps the knots here and away from the others where I'm going to need to put knots for my clasp. Go around twice, bring that thread down, do the best you can to hang on to that knot, pull it tight, and then just go through and you'll tuck that knot in there like that. Oh, that's a bit squinchy. And cut that off. Your needle. So now let's just show you quickly what I have here. So we have our different components. This is what it'll look like. So you can see my wrist is super small. So this will probably, I'm not sure what size it'll fit. So now we're going to take the thread that we had on the last component, and we're going to put our needle back on. Let's get that a little thinner. Okay. So today is Saturday. I'm going to release this video today. Hope everybody's doing well. And I'm hoping to do a video to let you know what's happening with my surgery and healthcare. But I want to do a face-on video. So I need to fix my hair. It's getting long-ish, and it gets curly, so it gets all crazy like. There, get that on there. So we don't need the 8-0s now. Let me get another little tray here to move them out of the way. Oh, these are the 11s. This is what we need. Okay. So now we are going to need our wire guardian, our 2 pearls. And that's it. So we're going to pick up an 11-0. Let me enlarge this. 11-0. We're coming out of, so my thread's already positioned around the 8-0. So we don't have to worry about repositioning. Pick up your pearl. Another, well, actually we're going to need a bunch more 8-0s. So let's just count. What I did for this side here is I did 5 on each side of the pearl. So we want to repeat that to be consistent. And then I put a strand of 4 pearls and the wire guard. So the first section, we're going to need 9 11-0s. That's 5 and 4. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay. And so this section here, we could put the wire guard onto that now, or you can just use your wire guard and then open that jump ring. So I think I might put the guard on. You know what? This is a little snug. So getting a couple of strands through there might be tough. So you should check your holes on your wire guards when you start it, like before you actually thread it, because you don't want to get partway through and then have to cut your thread off. So that one's nice and big. Check the other side. Nice and big. So there's nothing wrong with this one. It's just if you actually look at it this way, you can see this hole is a little narrower than the other. And it's just the way they're made. They're squeezed into that little tube and, you know, they affect how narrow they are. So let's go through here. Okay, let me show you what I've got so far. So 1 11-0 next to the 8-0, your pearl. Then you want 5 next to the pearl. This 4 beads, we're not going to add that again on the other side. This is going to be a combined section. Okay, so we're through the wire guard. We're going to go through the other hole on the wire guard like that. Pull that through. And just to show you, just make sure your thread is on that channel. Sometimes when you pull it through, it actually pops over the channel and runs across. So just keep an eye on that. So now I'm going to go through the jump ring and bring my thread all the way through till the wire guard passes through. Super simple. Now we want to go through those combined 4 beads from the top. So this way. 1, 2, 3, 4, like that. Pull that through. It's going to hang on to those. Pull that through. So you can see your wire guard is wide. What I did for the other one, and I usually do this for my wire guards, is I squeeze them together. Now you can squeeze it with your fingers. It works well. I'm just going to just hang on to that. Put a finger there. And just, let me see if I can hang on to it. Let's squeeze it with your pliers or your fingers. They're pretty easy to squeeze. Just enough so they come together. Like that. And then we're going to add 5 11 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and our pearl like that, and then 1 11. I've done my mat here. So let's take a look at what we have. That is what we have. Super duper, that's what we want. So we're going to take our thread and we're going to go around the outside of this 8/0. We're going to go through the nibbit, through the 8/0, and then we're going to go up and around at least 2 times. You can do 3. Go through those guys. That. No worries if any part of this is loose. When we go through it the second time, we're going to pull our thread and it will get everything nice and snug like that. Super simple. Go up through your 11/0, pearl the 9 that we added on this side. And you could usually do it all at once. Go through one side. Now I'm going to go through the 11/0s, then we'll do the wire guard. You could probably go through the one side of the wire guard. I'm just going to hold everything down like that. Pull it tight. You can see your wire guard, your threads there. I'm going to go through the first side. Let me see if I can hold it to make it easier for you to see. Go through that side of the wire guard. Okay. Everything through. Go through the jump ring. Because this part that goes around from the wire guard that goes around the jump ring is that open channel. So all you have to do is go through the jump ring. And this is getting hooked. Okay, there, like that. So it's on the channel. I'm going to just hang on to it for a sec. I'm going to go through the other tube of the wire guard like that. Now we're going to go through. I'm just going to turn this so it makes it easier to go through. We're going to go through the combined 4 beads like that. Then through the other side of the 5. So just be careful. Sometimes you get tired, you don't remember which side you went through. So it won't make much difference just as long as you go through another time. Just you want to make sure it's nice and strong. So I got to go through this 11/0. There's still a bit of give there. I'm going to tighten that, so don't worry. Go through everything here and give it a little tug. You can see it like pops it up. And that's it. So that was 2 times around. You can go a third if you want. You know what? I think I'm going to go a third. Let's be my regular OCD self. So this thread that I'm using is super strong. So even though it's thin and it will give your bracelet or what you're working on a little bit of a slinky feel to it, it's still strong. So you don't have to worry about it breaking. So going through 3 times probably not necessary, but I'm going to go through those 4 and turn this around because I may have, want to make sure I go through the right side. Unhook that. Yeah, so if you look at how we had the bracelet this way, I was getting ready to go down that side. We already went down. So let me bring my needle to the other side. Go through the last 5 and we'll put the knots in and I think that's doing pretty good. So let's do a red one so you get to see what that color looks like. I may go back and order some of the other colors just to have an idea. They were, like I said, now the prices have gone up a lot. Let me make sure that's tight. So I'm going to find my thread bridge. That. There. 1, 2, pull it down, pull that through. Nice and tight. Sweet. Go back through here. And yeah, perfect. I'm going to go put a knot here. 1, 2. Pull that tight. And go through the next Nib-bit. There. I heard that little knot snap inside the bead. That's usually the indication that it's nice and hidden inside the bead. So let's take a look at this first. So I'm kind of excited that I was able to do this design. I happen to be like organizing my desk because getting ready for the surgery. I wanted to clean my office, and I have a ton of project bins. So I was going through and I'm like, I don't remember making this design for the bezel. And I searched high and low on Pinterest and YouTube to find anything, and I couldn't. So I'm like, well, maybe I figured it out on my own, but I'm sure I saw a picture somewhere. I'm just going to measure this on my mandrel, give you an idea of what we've got. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 components will give you in the length with the extension that I did. So this is super cool. I'm so glad I did it. So this is it's almost on the 7.5 mark. So there you go. That's awesome. Okay, so let's try the red one. Super duper. Oh, and let's I wonder if we use the same colors. I need your help. Tell me. Let's put. You know what? There's a different colors. Let me try the different colors of the Nib-bits, so that'll give you an idea. So I think it's between these two colors. Let's try the white, the clear. This is called Crystal AB. And let me go through all the others, because you know what happens? People ask me, oh, around this mark on the video, you showed this color. What is it? So this one's Rosaline. That's lovely. This one is Celsian. This is really nice. It's like a topaz look to it. Then we have Luster Transparent Gold Smoky Topaz. This is really nice. It looks dark here, but let me open this up and see. Actually, this might be the one to use. Yeah, it's got like a kind of a pinky gold. No, that's not it. That's not it. I'm just looking 6'5". These look smaller than the others, but it's just my perception. I was wondering about these. These are hematite. These look amazing. So, let me see. I mean, we're going to yeah, I don't know about this one either. Okay. Let's stick with the white. And the last set I have is, oh, they're trios, so those are not. So here, I had a bunch of these, and if you look at the picture, it's got the 2 holes on the bottom. So it looks, the shape looks the same, but the holes are in a different orientation. And these are very, like, have hard edges to it. So they're quite different. There's the, and the holes go from side to side. So yeah, let's do the white. You might want to do another, we'll just do the gold because it would take too long to find the, although silver would be nice. I'm so bad for, I can't make up my mind. Let me just take a quick look. Let's see. 15, 11, and 8. I do. Now the colors don't match exactly, but we're not going to worry about that. At least we have them. Let me move these guys over out of the way. So we're going to need some 8s. Definitely, I find like this color, let's open this up, this color, well, it's got silver in it, so I don't know if these will come out. These were bead tubes that I got, and the lids came like this, and I was actually surprised it works really good for 15 O's. And yeah, we don't need 11s actually for this section. So let's get a piece of thread. So this is like the bonus track of a movie or something. Stay tuned for deleted scenes. Yeah, this should be pretty quick. We probably do need more 15 O's. Okay, nice and quick on that. So we'll pick up a 15. So for this is interesting, and it's probably good that I picked these. These are one-sided AB. So if you want your AB to be facing up, then you want to position your beads. So, because the one side is just straight up clear. So 1, and then go through the tiny part, the Nib-bit. Go through. So here's the thing, I didn't know if you noticed, I was getting ready to go through this side. If I went through this side, it would change, because it would make the clear side come through. So you always want to, if you're not sure what side to do a two-sided bead, just position your beads in the position you want to pick them up. So we want the big sides down all the time for this design. So like that. So we've got our 15, go through, grab a 15, go through the small bead, or the small hole. And do that. Make sure I've got the right amount. Okay, so let me just show you the example. If I was to go through the left side hole of the small side, when I go to put it through, it's showing the wrong side of the bead. If you don't understand what I'm talking about, I find the more you work with 2 whole beads, that happens. I apologize, these all came off. If you work with 2 whole beads a lot, you start to like it becomes normal. You just look at it and you're like, no, it's on the wrong way. But that to me, like setting them on your mat the way you want them to appear is an easy way to figure that out. So you just double check they're all in the right orientation. So these are going to be lovely. This, you know what, reminds me of Christmas. So the red and this kind of like icicle silver clear color. See how that translates. Do it the last time. And pull it tight. And clip that little piece off. So that's the backside. Actually, the backside's really cool too because you get this like rainbow colors. And there's the side we're going to work with. So again, we want to hide that piece of thread in the Nib-bit bead. So just go through a few here. These are a little harder to see because of that they're clear. So I'll pull that through. There. Oh, now step up. And we're going to add our 8 O's. Oops, too many. I was doing one design like of these, of the other color, and I picked up 2 15s, didn't realize it till I got up to this section. I'm like, oh, how did that happen? But you know, you know, you go to pick up a bead and 2 beads get on your needle, so it's not a big deal. Okay, so there's that side. This is looking amazing. And oh, this actually looks like the Tudor flower. Wow, this will be interesting. Okay, so let me go through the Nib-bit, and then I'll step down like that and start adding 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. These 15s look really small. We'll work it. See. Where did I put them? I need more. But again, it could be perception because I was working with the 11 O's. 15s are quite tiny. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Didn't go through that time. There we go. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I'm hoping to get a bunch of videos done this afternoon. So there'll be videos while I'm in the hospital. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, this is our last one. There. Now we need to go up through the next one. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. I wonder, I might try 2 on these because I feel like they're super tiny. Try 2 in between. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2 and 1, 2, 3, 4. Pick up 2. Go through the middle one. Let me see, I may have jumped the gun here. It's got twisted somehow. Okay, let's go back out here. Let me take these off. My thread might have gotten caught on another bead, so let's take a look what's happened here. It looks really messed up. I probably got caught on the ones that I added. Yeah, that's what it was. There. I got so excited. Okay, pick up 2. Go through the middle one. There, that's better. Pick up 2. Go through the middle one. There. Pick up 2. Nope, that's not the middle one. There. And this will be the last one. Pick up 2. And let's just get that moved. Okay, this is the bead right here. It doesn't look like much right at this point. There's our 2 beads. Okay, let's get our red crystal. Put that in there. Oh, this is looking amazing. This is turning out better than I expected. Okay. Okay, so it's creating a different shape, almost like a octagon shape. Let's go through everything again so we can tighten this. So that's what adding 2 instead of one does, instead of creating a circle. But this is really, so this is what I mean by playing with different colors and different amount of beads, and really can have these happy accidents, like as Bob Ross used to say. Okay, let's go through, and I'm going to go past this one. Oh, this is looking amazing. Okay, let me just get everybody nice and tight. Whoa, this is turning out amazing. Wow. Okay, where are we? Going through there. Let's go through here, and then we'll go down and tighten it. Okay, so I went down one side bead. I'm going to go down through the bottom. I don't know if I'll be able to get through that 11-0 at the base. So when you add your side components, it tightens up the tightens up the 15 O's at the base of your Nib-bits. So let me get this through here. And there, oh, this would make a beautiful ring. Oh, this is amazing. So that's what it looks like on the side. This is really pretty. Wow, it really outlines the cushion shape. If you take a look at the, see if I can get the reflection there. There, you can see the cushion shape outlines it. That is super cool. So thanks for joining me, and stay tuned. There'll be lots more available, hopefully. And there's the other bracelet. Take care, everybody. We'll see you in the next video. Bye.